Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott McKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, welcome. This is where we celebrate you, the women and men of industry, the women of men of manufacturing. You deserve it. That's right. We love you on this platform. You know why? Because you're bold, you're brave, you dare greatly, you innovate like nobody's business, and you're changing lives around the world. That's why the Industrial Talk Podcast is here. It's for you. It's all about you. Not about me. It's all about you. All right. On the hot seat, this is the Heroes of Manufacturing hot seat broadcast at this particular time. On the hot seat, Paula Butkevich. That's Butkevich, Director of Specialty Sales. Sales. That's sometimes hard to get out. But she's a specialty sales director right there. And she's with Hitachi Cable of America. Let's get a cracking. So I use an iPad for music, right? And sometimes it sounds like it's skipping. I have no idea why. No, none whatsoever. And it's just zeros and ones. It's just technology. Like it. I have no clue. So if you hear something skipping, it's not me. I'm not banging the record player because I don't have a record player. I just have an iPad that skips like that. Anyway, we got a great interview. I've got a quote. I'm looking for a quote here, and I've got to find it because it's really cool. Let me just sort of. Oh, here it is. If you weren't scared, for whatever reason, if you weren't scared, what would you do? Like professionally, I'm having a conversation with another company and another individual, and so with this COVID thing happening all around us. Some people have lost their jobs. Some people have definitely had their lives changed. That's for sure. And the question came out. It says, what if you weren't scared? What if you didn't have any fears in the world? What would you like to do? I thought that was pretty cool because that brought about great stuff because I've done things in the past that I wasn't really excited about. Anyway, I just think about that. Now I'm living the dream. I get to interview great people like Paula and just sort of soak in that wisdom. That's fantastic. Okay, before we get into that, you're saying to yourself, Scott, I love this Heroes of Manufacturing. I love to be able to get involved. All right, you go out to heroesofmanufacturing.com, and there are things there that you can just sort of click on and say, hey, I want to get involved. Get involved. Just get involved. Listen, because she's great. And many of the people who are in manufacturing are wonderful. In fact, I would have to say 100%. I'm going to make sure that that's out there. 100% of everybody in manufacturing is wonderful. And let's say you want to nominate one of those wonderful people. Well, you go out to heroesofmanufacturing.com. Boop. Nominate. Get them on this particular podcast so that we can celebrate them appropriately. And if you're saying to yourself, that's just too hard for me to do, go out to industrialtalk.com and then just connect with me directly and say, Scott, got a great person that you should interview in manufacturing. And you know what I'll do? I will then take the ball and I will run to the end zone and get that individual on this particular podcast. Okay. No excuses. Absolutely no excuses. I'm going to challenge you one more time before we get into this interview. I need for you to be bold, brave, and daring greatly. And I need for you to hang out with people who are bold, brave, and daring greatly. Your life will change. Remember, collaborate, innovate, educate with a sense of speed and tenacity because we need you. We need you manufacturers all the time. And we need the people of manufacturing so that we can succeed in the future because we're all about surviving, rebuilding, and prospering on this podcast because we're celebrating the people who do that. All right. Paula Butkevich. Again, go out to her stat card. And if there's more Butkeviches out there, You're just going to have to put a comma and then say Hitachi Vantara. No. Don't do that. Don't even listen to me on that one. No, you're going to type in Hitachi Cable of America. That's what you're going to do. You'll find her. And I just love the fact, when we start talking about manufacturing, when we start, diving deep, pulling back all of the neat little things that happen and from an innovation point of view, everything is sort of manufactured in some way, shape, or form, and we just take it for granted. And when we start talking about cables, we take it for granted. We were talking about, and if you're out there on video, what is it? Here, I got cables everywhere, right? I've got cables everywhere. And they have to be manufactured they might not manufacture because they're pretty sophisticated in their cable manufacturing capabilities. But there's cables everywhere. There's things. This thing right here that I'm out there, that was manufactured. Somebody had to manufacture that. Specifications, boom, deliver, all of that stuff. That's why manufacturing is cool. It is. I have a shirt that says Heroes of Manufacturing, but I do not have it saying manufacturing is cool. I'm going to run with that. I'm going to hashtag it. Yeah, it might be a little too long, but you get it. All right. Paula Butkevich is on the Industrial Talk podcast, and she's dropping, she's just dropping these truth bombs all day. Enjoy the interview. All right. We've got Paula on the hot seat, the Industrial Talk hot seat, where we're celebrating, definitely, Heroes of Manufacturing. Paula, how are you doing? Thank you very much for joining. I want to say the #1 podcast, manufacturing and industrial podcast in the universe. I'm not always saying that.
I'm great, Scott, and I appreciate you having me on today. It's fun to do, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
I love it, and I just can't wait to have this conversation. Again, listeners out there, this is a Heroes of Manufacturing specific conversation because you know why? Because we have to celebrate the women and men of manufacturing. Because you know why? Because they deserve celebration. They make our lives better, easier, and that's all I care about, making my life easier. You making my life easier there, Paula?
I will.
Don't mess up on this podcast.
I won't. I hope.
All right. For the listeners out there, give us a little background, a little 411 on who Paula is and why you're such an incredible professional. And then we're going to dive on into what Hitachi, Vantara, and cables and all that good stuff.
Awesome. My name's Paula Butkevich. I work for Hitachi Cable America, and I work in their performance materials group. We have 3 groups, medical group, performance medical, performance, sorry about that, performance cable group, and an automotive
If you're looking
group.
for help from me, don't even begin to look there. That's okay.
So we all bubble up to Hitachi Cable America. And I've been in the wiring cable industry since the early 80s. So I was around when cable was starting to power things like your printers and your old computers, like an old Wang computer. It was just when computers came out. We did a lot of things with barcoding and coil cords. And I've served customers in a lot of different markets, an industrial market, transportation, defense, medical, data centers, so the whole gamut. So I've kind of grown up in this market, and I've held many positions throughout my career, and some would be as interns in an engineering department. I would end up going out on the production floor so that I could learn how the product was actually made. I worked on hand costing products so that I would learn speeds of machines and scrap rates of machines, so that I would understand the basics of how this industry works and how a cable is made. And I've worked...
I'm just going to throw this out. I guarantee you, I take cabling for granted. And
a lot of people do.
You do. But when you were talking about all the cables, I'm looking at all the cables that are on my desk, and I'm going, and then I have a basket full of cables, and there's some up there. And it's like, I thought, man, you're right. There's cables everywhere, and we need them, and they're not going away.
Yeah, they're not going away. I mean, the cables you can see cables, and there's a lot of cables that you don't see. Yeah. We have cables that go underground, for utilities. We have... Right now, the big 5G revolution, we have cables going up the 5G cell phone towers. We have them in buildings, in stadiums. We have cables in your airports and your tunnels and you name it, and Hitachi's there with our cable making life better.
See, and that's pretty cool, because on your website I've looked down at there, and you do a lot of medical cabling too, and it's like that's super small tech, baby.
Oh yeah.
And all of the stuff that you mentioned, it's not just, I mean, geez, look at that, a cable. Yeah. But it's the technology, it's the innovation, it's how it's never stopping. You're always trying to improve the
Absolutely.
product, the cable, right?
Innovate,
baby.
Yeah, we want to make people's lives better, right? One of Hitachi's driving principles is that they want to have a sustainable society. So
Right.
we're very careful about the products that we go after and the markets that we serve. We want to leave the world in a better place than
Yeah.
it was when we started, right?
Yeah.
We want to power good all over the globe, and that's how Hitachi that's how they conduct themselves and how they do business.
And I have to back it up, because I have that conversation with other people within Hitachi, and they do believe it in their heart.
Oh,
People,
absolutely.
They just it's a beautiful thing, and everything, all the decisions that Hitachi, Vantara, Hitachi, wherever Hitachi you are, right?
Yes.
The decisions are wrapped around that, and it's an incredible thing to see that, and how people really embrace that. That's a again, beautiful thing.
It really is a great thing. I mean, Hitachi's celebrating their 110-year anniversary this year, and they've been doing this for society and improving the quality of life, for all of us for 110 years. So it's one of the reasons I work here.
Now I'm going to go out to my local whatever, and I'm going to try to find Hitachi cables, just because I want to have them inside my studio. I don't know if I can do that.
No.
It's a goal.
You could have some
goal.
for your TV that's behind you. You could have some power cables, and you could have some.
Maybe. So anyway, when COVID, because one of the things that the heroes of manufacturing truly would love to be able to highlight is how your organization, the people within your organization, adapted to the realities in the marketplace, the realities in their life, the realities in their community, and so on and so forth. Because, one day, let's say Monday, everything was fine. And then Tuesday,
absolutely,
somebody flipped the doggone switch, and then we're living in this sort of pandemic world. How has your organization, you and others, dealt with this pandemic COVID reality?
Right. So February 28th, about that time frame, I'm in charge of the outside sales group. We travel, right? We get on planes, we get in cars, we go get in front of customers, right? We're very seldomly in the office, and in our home offices, we're not there except maybe at the end of the week to do paperwork and get caught up. So those breaks got put on. No more traveling, no more staying in hotels.
That's a good point.
Stay home, stay home. And your families were also told stay home, so you have kids, you have daycare issues, you have, just your family dynamic changes. So one of the things Hitachi did is they empowered us to be able to work from home. So there was a large group, even in the office, of people who are now working from home that have never done that, right? That requires a level of trust, right? Hitachi management had to think about, are they really going to work at home? Are they going to get their jobs done? And I am so proud of our group. We've rallied, and we are working, I think, in some instances, harder than we did when we were on the road, right? Because we have to take every opportunity to have a touch point with our customers, right? We don't want them to forget us.
Right.
We want to stay front of mind with them, right?
Right.
But the working from home, Hitachi's been very flexible in getting that done. It required capital investment, if you would, on a small level, but we needed laptops, we needed printers, we needed monitors, we need power supplies in people's homes, right? We helped people who didn't have internet or a reliable signal in their home so that we could continue to conduct business and meet the needs of our customers, right?
Because, and it didn't stop, because you're a vital, your manufacturing, the cable is vital to, I mean, it just is vital to the market and to people's lives. So you couldn't stop. And the necessity to figure out how to, you're right, how you're thinking, I'm working harder now, because you were sort of on to a certain extent, on autopilot with how you approach sales. Go out, connect, do this, and it was very touchy-feely, and then come back home and then catch up, fine, weekend, whatever that might be. Completely different now.
Absolutely.
And now you've got that intellectual side of like, how do I do that, and how do I connect with, and what do I do here, and it's all new, and
it is.
But the funny thing is, you're saying, hey, we're busy, or we're working harder than we ever have, and I know that I just sort of roll out of bed, I go to the computer, I'm still looking very sharp from my night of sleep, and I'm already cranking away at
right. You're already working, right?
Yes.
You don't have that luxury of getting ready unless you really plan for it, right?
Yeah, and that must have been challenging for you guys to really shift gears into sales and marketing and branding and all of the stuff that's associated with getting your
very
message out.
challenging. Our trade shows were all canceled. There's a few groups are going to try to do the virtual trade shows, so we have to learn how to do that. How do we man a booth? How do we schedule appointments? I like change, but there are some people that don't. So it's exciting for me.
I've heard that too. I don't like change. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I heard that. Yeah.
Yep, but it's exciting. I like to be involved in the groups that are trying to forge this new path because it's going to be here for a while.
I love it. And we talk about COVID, and we understand the challenging side of COVID, and it's like the pain and the family and the communities and all of the stuff with business. But I find that the positive side is that people are truly focused on what is meaningful. What is meaningful to not just their lives, but to business, and they're pinpoint focus on that and trying to achieve what they need to achieve through innovation or whatever might be technology. I like that. I like that a lot.
Absolutely. And we were deemed an essential employer at the beginning of COVID. So we still needed to take care of our manufacturing and take care of the people that run all our machines, which is so important, right? So we put all the protocols in place to keep our employees as safe as possible. We do the temperature checks, the hand sanitizer, the masks. Even when we're all in the same building, we don't congregate. We don't gather more than 10 people in an office, right, to have our big meetings anymore. Right. They've put TVs out on the floor so that people can see the meetings. So we're going with the times. We're not panicking. We are strategically building that next leg of our business, if you will, through COVID.
I think what is going to happen, there might be a business as usual. Let's just sort of put it out there. It's not going to be business as usual. And then unless you want a business of resiliency, you're going to have to figure out how to survive in this new or next normal. And once again, I think it's forever transformed our DNA on how we look at business and how we conduct business. And I think that everybody all the way down the line is willing to say, yeah, I'll connect with you over Zoom. Let me go grab my cup of coffee over here, roll out of bed, and I'll be right there.
You're very right.
And I don't have to put any makeup on, and if you look like me, it's been the best because, well, I don't have to look good.
That's funny.
Anyway, but I think it has forever changed business, and I think it's made us the people who have truly, like a Hitachi, your company, have been truly pushing innovation from a business perspective. You're able to sort of weather this storm a little bit better.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, and I think that that's a beautiful thing, and I think companies who have embraced that technology, embraced the innovation that exists out there, are doing better now, and other companies are playing catch up, but you can catch up. They can,
right. And the thing for Hitachi is we weren't so much in catch up, if you will, and this is just my personal opinion, because one of the values that Hitachi was built on is that people are important. People are your business, people first, right? So I felt it from my immediate supervisors, from my immediate management, as well as global. We get newsletters from our corporate offices, and they're like, don't forget, take care of yourself, take care of your families. And it truly means a lot. Yeah, it truly does mean a lot because they are putting us first, and it's not easy for them to do. I mean, this is hard times for everybody. I don't want to fluff it, but because they've always taken care of their people, this is the next step in what that looks like.
But it's interesting because you brought up something important. This is hard times. It's hard time globally. And if you think you're just sort of, the world is picking on me, you're wrong. This is an equal opportunity pandemic that's hammering
Yes, sir.
people over the head. And so you're not alone. And I really like the way that culture exists within Hitachi that brings about that, I don't know, that support. People need support.
Absolutely. It's important. It's important.
And because it's not just, I've got a sick daughter at home or something, and then I need your support. It's just an upside down change within your life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just you, it's that other person,
Everybody.
someone next to you, and then so on and so forth.
All the same. Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
with all of that, because we're all trying to figure out how to navigate this new normal.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I thought was very interesting is how your organization, your company, is still trying to adapt a COVID-friendly type of employee community type of expression or whatever, that like a thing, a positive thing for your community. What are you guys doing out there?
Well, for October, and it's been a learning experience again for us. We didn't quite know how to interact with the community right at the very beginning because we were all kind of hunkered down and waiting to see what the next step was going to be. But we're coming out of it. So for the New Hampshire facility, we're doing a trunk or treat where we are telling the employees to have their kids come out and grab a pumpkin, have their friends come out and grab a pumpkin,
Nice.
Bring it home. So you can pick up the pumpkin outside, bring it home, decorate it, bring it back to the office, all while practicing social distancing. And then we're going to have a trunk or treat. People can decorate their cars and have kids come and get, candy in a safe manner. They can have costumes.
Throw the candy at the kids. Stay there. Go long. Here comes a Clark bar.
Yeah, and costumes. So kids, and then we're going to have a pumpkin decorating contest. So they bring the pumpkins back with them, and they're displayed so everyone can see them and vote on the best. So it's just a way to get people out in a safe manner and to enjoy the season, right? So our personnel group is working very hard to find these opportunities and continue to work on them.
I think that's beautiful because I know people are trying to get back to some sense of normalcy.
Yeah.
And that to me is part of it. And I love it. I love that particular initiative. I mean, the kids, they don't understand some of them. I mean, it's like, I want to get out there and have some fun.
Absolutely. They don't understand. Yep.
Yeah.
You want to make it a little normal for them.
Yeah, I like it. All right. We're going to have to wrap it up. Is there anybody that you want to just say, that person's a hero in my world?
I am so blessed because I could give you 15 names right off the top of my head, but I'm going to give you the name for me, right? So Joe Martino works here at Hitachi.
Slow down. Let's spell that name out.
It is Joseph I. Martino. So it's IAMARTINO.
Thank you very much for spelling that because I started out all wrong.
That's okay.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about Joe.
So Joe's been, he is the reason that I actually got into the wiring cable business back in the 80s. I was his first intern, and it was before interns were really a thing. And all these years later, he's the one that brought me back into the wire and cable group. Wow. And he is the COO for our Hitachi group, and he resides over in our Rhode Island business. And to say Joe is just the best mentor anybody could have is an understatement. He's very humble, and when he hears this, we'll be angry that I even mentioned him.
I'm going to, wow. That's going to just, go ahead.
He's so approachable, and he's a brilliant man. He is well learned in so many subject areas, and he likes to teach. He doesn't want to just tell you how to do something. He'd prefer that you go do it, bring it back, and he'll tell you yes or no. And he's always 5 or 6 steps ahead of us as far as where the business needs to be. Right. And he's worldly, and it's wonderful. He sees the good in people.
Yeah, I love that.
Each person.
Yeah.
He works and works to develop that talent. He has no more greater happiness than when his people are successful. He loves the fact to have a strong team around him. And I think a lot of his success can see he's such a planner. He's just a great guy, and I just want to give him a shout out.
Let me look at my calendar. Let's see if he's on the calendar. He's not on my calendar.
I'm in trouble.
So now I go into shame mode and try to get old Joe on the old podcast, because I believe, and this is a great example of what you just spoke about, the pre-virus, we were maybe a little lazy, possibly. I'm not talking about Joe, just talking about in general, macro, whatever, lazy. From a leadership perspective, pandemic hits, and I think it really it highlighted great leaders and how to manage this particular challenge and how to lead the way and, calm the spirits of individuals that are, concerned.
Absolutely, and he does that.
Let me check my calendar. Nope, he's still not on it. Okay.
We'll talk to him.
Oh, he got the hint. I'm going to make it, and I'll ping him in this, but I think that's great. Wonderful. Now, are you active out on LinkedIn?
I am, sir.
All right, and I'm not a sir. All right.
I was raised with respect.
You're right, ma'am.
There you go.
No way. All right, and so she's active out there. You can't, and her last name is Butkevich, first name Paula, and it is, she's the director of specialty sales, pretty cool name, with Performance Cable Systems and Material Division, Hitachi Cable America. That's the company. You are wonderful.
You said it better than I did. Thank you.
You're welcome. And all right, listeners, you know as well as I do, I'm going to wrap it up on the other side. All of the contact information will be available at industrialtalk.com. Do not go away. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
All right, what did I tell you? Absolutely. Paula Butkevich. That's Butkevich. And it's Hitachi Cable America is the company. Dropping those truth bombs. Manufacturing is cool. Again, manufacturing is cool. And I want you to get involved. So I want you to go to either heroesofmanufacturing.com, get involved. I want you to nominate. Go out to heroesofmanufacturing.com and nominate. And if you can't do that, just go out to industrialtalk.com, connect me directly. I'll grab that ball and I'll run to the end zone most definitely, and we'll make that happen. All right, be bold, be brave, dare greatly, connect with people who are. Your life will change. And I'm telling you, man, please, 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 we need you. Collaborate, innovate, educate with a sense of purpose and tenacity. We're going to come back with another incredible interview. So do not go away. Stay tuned. We will be right back.